Hey, my name is Dr. Jack Allen, and I'm an elder at Zayo Church, and this is Foundations. Several years ago, I was touring a church downtown in our city. It was over 100 years old, and I was walking around with the caretaker. I noticed that there were several cracks in the brick on the outside, and of course, part of what I was there for was to point those out. And he said, yeah, that they figured out many years ago when the church was started that the builders underpoured the amount of concrete needed for the foundation. And now, as it was years and years later, because the members didn't really do what they needed to do, take care of the problem in the beginning, it was starting to show a lot of signs of wear and problems, and it was going to cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to try to go back in and repair that. Well, in a believer's life, I guess it's pretty obvious. If we don't do what Jesus said to do and create a good foundation for our life, what we'll end up with is cracks all the way through. And I'm sure you can figure this out. And it's painfully obvious. Well, what may not be so obvious to you is that Jesus actually spoke about this in Matthew chapter 7. He says, everyone who hears these words of mine, and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, the winds blew and beat against that house, yet it did not fall, because it has its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. Now, maybe you're like me and you were raised around church or in church, or maybe you're not. But either way, these foundations of the faith may be a little bit mysterious. I've had a tremendous number of believers that I've talked to and asked them about the foundations of the faith, and they came back with pretty much saying, "Oh yeah, I've got all that down," but couldn't name any of them. Well, you know, to be honest, if you'd asked me about 3 months ago, what are the foundations of the faith, I might have struggled with it too, till I remembered in Hebrews chapter 6, they're listed. And we can look at them here in chapter 6, verse 1. Let us leave the elementary teachings about Christ and go on to maturity, not laying again the foundation of repentance from acts that lead to death. We could call those dead works, and from faith in God. So, foundation of the faith, faith in God, instruction about baptisms. Interestingly, that's plural. The laying on of hands, the resurrection of the dead, and eternal judgment. So, the writer tells us exactly what the foundations of the faith are. In this little short video series, we're going to go through each one of these, explain them to you in all of the videos will be less than 5 minutes. I promise. I promise. And give you a chance to get started in understanding what the foundations of the faith are. Thanks for tuning in. I look forward to each one of these and to hear your comments as we see each other on Sunday. Hopefully, you'll get something out of this and we can have deeper discussions about them. We'll do some written material that'll, I guess, augment these over time. For right now, this is where we're going to get started. Look forward to going through the foundations with you.